Hello and welcome to the METAcast. This is episode 6. I'm your host, Michael. Joining me this week is Alistair.
Hello.
Johnny.
Hi.
And Shalee.
Hi.
Back for more podcast.
More podcasts.
Yeesh.
Now
Not
that-
when I'm drunk.
Now that you're not
Sober
drunk and
Shalee.
you won't rage quit the podcast.
Yeah.
When you left, it was just like everyone's just like, okay, as long as the equipment doesn't fall over, we're okay.
I
And-
was good.
That's the only problem with someone walking out is
Mm.
make sure they don't trip over
Mm.
cables.
Yeah.
Let's get the scoreboard out of the way. I am in the lead in first place with 10 wins, 16 losses. Alistair, you're coming second with 7 wins, 7 losses.
Yeah.
Lagging
I
behind.
haven't had a win in a while.
Yeah, it's been a while. Connor is in third place with 4 wins, 8 losses. He's just been there for the
Not a
entirety. David has overtaken Johnny.
In a
With-
sense.
No, completely. In fourth place, 2 wins and 14 losses. Johnny is in fifth place with 2 wins and 14 losses.
So technically it's tied.
No, it isn't.
It's tied.
It's not technically tied.
How's that go? Alphabetical order or what?
No, it's
Whenever
player
someone
number.
joins.
like whoever like joins earlier,
Yeah.
Yeah.
like supersedes the other person.
Yeah.
Which I actually fucked up one time because I had equal wins to you. I was like, yes, I'm first place. And I actually, one of the videos I put up is wrong because I put myself back up to first place, but then I forgot that I had like twice as many losses as you.
Yeah.
And so it didn't actually put me into first place. So then I fixed that. But now I'm legit in first place. Guy is in 6th place with 1 win and 2 losses because he is a pro at Smash. And then Ethan is in 7th place with 0 wins and 3 losses. Vanessa is in 8th place with 0 wins and 4 losses. And Shalee is in 9th place with 0 wins and 10 losses.
I love my position on the bottom. just
So like
saying.
those last
It's
3
never
are
gonna
like
change.
the negative points you're fighting over, like
Just the
negatives.
losses is going to add up.
That's never going to change. I doubt I'll win anything.
Guys got really good stats in comparison to me or anyone really.
No, Alistair has better stats than Guy.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, true.
Alistair, you have the best stats. In terms of percentage, you're 50-50.
Connor
Mm.
has the same stats as Guy.
Oh,
The same
he does.
win-loss ratio.
Yes. No, he doesn't.
Did I?
No, he
he's
doesn't. He's
Yes, he does.
4 to 8.
no, because 7 and 7 is 50-50. 7 plus 7 is 14. Divide that by 2 is 7.
Come on, guy.
Connor's 1 4.
Welcome to the
lost
No.
8. That means 12, which means that he's won a third of his games. Alistair's won half.
No,
That is better.
No. I just said that Connor has the same win-loss
As
ratio
Guy.
as Guy because they have both won 50% of them games.
Welcome to the Maths Podcast,
Yeesh.
where we learn about
They
percentages
haven't
and
won
stats.
50% though. They've won 33.33%.
No, it's 50%.
No, she's right.
I am correct.
Why is it
I
33.33%?
is good
Guys
in
played
maths.
3 games, won 1.
Oh, right. Yeah.
I am correct.
Oh, yeah.
I get a point.
Yeah. I'm just looking at it and being like, twice as many losses as wins. It's equal.
Let's not talk about maths, which we obviously know nothing about.
Except for me, who's at the bottom.
I
Yeah,
failed
let's
at
not.
year 10
Let's
maths.
talk about something else.
Alright.
I was this randomly. I started thinking about this. What was I thinking about? Oh, that's right. I was thinking about primary school because I was listening to a different podcast and they were talking about urinating
Oh, great.
Okay.
Great start.
in the urinals, and it just like
Cool.
it just jumped into my head this thought where my primary school was shit as we had a it wasn't shit because we had a trough for a urinal thing because those are pretty common. It was a shit school regardless, but then there was some weird thing where some kid like peed all the way up the wall of the urinal.
Isn't that around the twist episode?
I was thinking about
So
that.
then the principal he like made a bunch of us like pee in the urinal. He's like to like see who did it.
What?
And I'm like,
What?
that's really fucking
That's
weird.
pedophilic.
I just remember that and I was like, that's really fucking weird. Like, who would be
That-
stupid enough to pee up all the way up to the roof? Like,
That-
if
Isn't
That
that
story went in
like-
a totally different direction than what I thought it was going to be.
pedophilia. Like,
Yeah, it's very pedophilic.
that's very much get out your willies. Let me have a look.
As long as it was behind you.
No,
Because
he was.
you can't tell
It wasn't
whose
like-
pee is whose.
How's he going to
cannot
tell?
No, that's
possibly
it.
tell.
It didn't make any
So it's
sense
an
whatsoever.
excuse.
There was no logic to it.
It's
Because even if he did find the person, how is he going to tell? Because they weren't going to pee all the way out the wall.
I have
in
a
front of him.
similar story where I was in year
Good
10
God.
and we had the guy in charge of our like area of the school being like, okay, all the girls, because this is in chapel, right, like assembly, all the girls can leave, guys, you have to stay behind. And I'm thinking, what the hell has happened here? And he goes, if anyone laughs, to an automatic detention. And everyone's really serious. And I'm just like, what the fuck is happening? And he goes, someone has been pissing all over the walls and all everywhere and just missed. And you guys are in your VC right now. And you're just going on. And apparently someone's had he literally used the word piss party. And everyone's like trying not to laugh. But you know when someone's like, don't laugh at this, you kind of just have to laugh. So one guy's like, ha ha. And he just stops. And he gives this menacing look. And everyone's like, oh my God, we're not going to make... No one figured it out who it was. But
Well, how
still,
did they know that they're year 10?
Like it was
a
the year 10 bathroom.
You guys have
I
year
bet
10
it was a little
bathrooms?
freaking
Like it was like a
seven.
common room for like VCE students.
Okay. Did
So-
we have year 12 bathrooms?
No.
We kind of had the upstairs area in the.
Yeah.
I had one
Cafeteria.
freaking portable.
The
No.
cafeteria
My school
bathrooms
was
were really
hollow.
small. I can't remember where they were.
Yeah, there was
I don't know.
one
Yeah.
near the thing.
Yeah, let's make hand signals
Yeah.
about that specific VC bathroom area that only the two of us
Yeah,
went to.
we had 3 common rooms, and the top one was year 10, the middle one was 11, and the bottom one was 12. So,
Fuck you,
What
city
about-
kids.
What about Gryffindor?
yeah. Yeah, exactly.
You're in your fancy levels.
That's what I got told by everyone when I were like, oh, I moved to my secondary school in year 5 because they have a 5, 6 and then a 7 through 12. And everyone told me they were like, oh yeah, it's like on a mountain and it looks like Hogwarts
Oh,
because
that'd
it's
be
all big and it's
fantastic.
like Hogwarts. It totally wasn't. Even before, like, they used to have the old buildings and then they demolished the old buildings to build new, like, fancier, classrooms. It still wasn't really like Hogwarts.
You're
Did
crushed.
I'm guessing you must have gone to private school.
Semi-private.
So I'm the
It's
only
not
one that went to
semi.
bogan school.
Yeah.
Semi-private. How's it a semi-private school?
I don't know, but it's like...
It's like half private school kids, half public school kids.
It was like...
And one half of the classroom has better facilities.
I think it
and
was
you're not
like-
allowed to pass that line.
I think it was a matter of like...
Or is it a Catholic
It was
school?
like... It was a Catholic school
One
with
of those.
like... Yeah, you had to pay like a number of fees, but the fees was like not as
Yeah.
nearly as high as anything else.
that's
like
what
it's
my
still
primary school
private,
used
but
to
it's
do.
religious.
Because
Yeah.
it's a public school, you don't have to pay. But my primary school were like, we're not gonna give you the book list. Like, you can't
Yeah.
buy your kids' books unless you buy them through us
Yeah.
oh really?
and pay us for the books.
My primary
as a
school
thing.
was like that. But I went to public school and we didn't have fancy shit
Well, like my cousins,
on a hill.
they went to schools where it was like $15,000 a year for high school. I think it was about that much, maybe a bit more.
Well, the school that me and Alistair went to wasn't quite that, but it was an expensive private school.
Yeah.
Mine was $200 a year.
It
Think
used to
mine-
be so like it used to be so prestigious and like good and worth it, and then it sort of got shit.
I think mine was like 1 or
Slowly.
2 a year. Which
So
isn't too bad, I guess.
I was remembering another thing from my primary school was our like school plays that like had like musical sort of thingies in it and stuff like that.
Mhm.
And we had awful teachers that were just like angry old women that would like take it out on the kids and like bully them and stuff.
Oh god.
And this one teacher, she wrote all the school plays. And I can't remember all of them. There was a bunch. We did like one that was like, oh, it's who's that guy that like found Australia? Captain Cook.
Mm.
There was a Captain Cook one. And like each year level is like a different sort of dance number and they're a different group. So like
Mhm.
when they're like going past the Arctic or the Antarctic, I can't remember which ones.
The Antarctic.
Yeah.
Northern or
It's
southern
the
one.
Antarctic.
I don't remember which one.
No.
But they're like, hey, look, a bunch of polar bears. And like my class was like the polar bear class. and the polar bears did a dance.
Were you dressed as a polar bear?
Like,
Have you got photos?
no,
Oh my god, I just would have laughed my ass off.
it's not like they were like we were like
It was budgeted, so it wasn't exactly
It's like year
positive
3.
polar bear material.
Yeah, it was like.
And this was
year
before
3
like the polar
primary
bear
school
onesies were released. It was
sort of
like
thing.
Yeah.
But then the only one that I do remember was this one that she wrote called Bug Boogie, and it was about like
Oh.
all the
Good
the
God.
insects in the garden, sort of like their hierarchy thing, and it's sort of like there's a bunch of the main characters are each a different insect, and like each lead character is from a different grade. And I got picked as the main character from my grade, which I think might have been when I was in year 4, and we
Yeah.
were the mosquitoes. And the mosquitoes are like fighter pilots and stuff. So I had like jodhpurs on and like a fighter like a leather old school helmet with goggles on and stuff.
did you have a nose?
No, they didn't
What?
have the budget for the big noses. And I was basically exactly the same character from Chicken Run, who's the old like that sort of British fighter pilot.
That's
style thing.
amazing.
I
We
didn't
watched that movie the other day. That was so funny.
I didn't understand. They like they did the thing where like they put what at the end of all of his sentences.
Yeah.
And I didn't understand it, and I was like, "This is stupid. It doesn't make any sense. I can't read that." They're like, "It's a British accent." I'm like, "That doesn't make any sense." But I was actually happy that I ended up getting picked for that because it meant that when they did my year levels dance number, I just stood there like with binoculars and like looked out into I was like searching with binoculars in the audience. And so I didn't have to do any of the dancing, which was awesome.
Because you're not a good dancer.
Yeah.
See,
And it was all this dumb thing where it's like they're all having relationships and like breaking up with each other and stuff like that. And there's like one character's a ladybug, and I think my character had the relationship with like the butterfly that was like the year above me or something.
Ew, mosquito and a
this
butterfly.
is like
that doesn't
the
make any
strangest
logical
thing
sense.
I've ever heard.
Well, that's what I was like. I was like, ew. I was still like, ew, girls. Even though I'm pretty sure the girl that was
So
like the main
that
butterfly
actually
was actually like
exists.
good looking.
That actually exists.
This is a
This
real
ill
thing that
girl
happened.
scene. Does all boys go through the ill girl?
I don't know.
phase?
I didn't-
I
Because
don't
girls
know.
don't go through that. They
I
go
never
all boys
felt
the
like
whole
I
time.
did originally, but then like thinking about that scene where I was like, I have to dance with her.
See, no, I
Yeah.
remember.
And then I'm like, oh wait, she was actually like a totally like a cute girl, and I was like, ew.
I remember I was in a play for Titanic, and I was Jack. Right? What?
Did she never let go?
Yeah, well, like the thing was, I was really nervous because I actually liked the girl who played Rose, and I was like 12 or 13, and she's like, they're like, oh, you have to come around her and like hug her, and I'm like, I'm afraid that like something will happen.
I'm just imagining like, what happened. How did they edit it? When like
This
she's
is a
like,
play.
paint me like your French girls. Like, how did
This
that
is like
scene
a sh-
go
this-
down?
This was like a short 5-minute thing. Like it was
Oh,
an
so they
end of
just-
year drama thing.
Right. So Billy Zane wasn't there either.
It literally,
and-
I think it just the plot ended up being, hey, this woman Rose is about to kill herself on the Titanic. You try and save her.
So it was just the one.
It was like
scene.
just a one scene thing. But like, I remember when I was in high school and we had, instead of like having someone give us the script, we would write our own scripts.
Mhm.
And we had 4 of them, and it was for each different house. Like Gryffindor. And we had the guy in Red House do a superhero thing, but it was like a Muztec superhero thing, and it was the most offensive thing that I have ever watched in my entire life. Like every single character was like fully sick, bruh, and like they were talking about their V8s and everything like that. And I remember there was one point where the teacher's like, "Can we stop this? Can we stop this at some point?" So that was a fun thing. Wait, did I tell you guys about how my first kiss was with Belle from Beauty and the Beast?
You haven't. I feel like I'm just like, I'll just try and finish my story before we like go too far
But
away
this
from
is
it.
an alright story from Johnny.
No, that's fine.
I just hit the microphone.
That's how shocked you were that you were like, really? I told a good story.
I told a good story.
Oh my
I think that's actually what happened.
So then I had the Bug Boogie musical thing, and there was a couple of others that she wrote, and I totally forgot. But then after I left and my brothers were still going, she started rebooting them. So she just like used this, like, so it was just like remakes of them. And I was like, that's what I sort of like, I was thinking about all the remakes that happened. And then I was like, our school plays even had remakes. So they remade my one, but I never saw it because the original's better.
All right, cool, Stunny.
It is a cool story because I believe for you, Shay, it could be interesting because we do actually have like a videotape of it.
Oh yeah, let's watch it.
So you might be able to see
Hey,
that.
video. You've seen the one of me in primary school where I was Santa and it was surfing Santas, right? And so there were like 5 or 6 kids were picked out to be the Santa. Now the idea was everyone else was in their bathers, in their todders, and all pretending to do surfing. And the idea was that 2/3 of the way through the song, or right at the end in the last 40 seconds, all the Santas stripped, and they had all their bathers on underneath. And they were now surfing Santa, so they still had like their big beards and their hats on.
The hats on.
Their Santa like.
It's the classic Christmas card that you see where it's like Santa in his board shorts.
His boardies and stuff.
On the beach.
Except I was the lead Santa, right? And within not even, I think it was like 5 to 10 seconds of the song, my pants fell down. Like hardcore, like I'm 5 or 6 or something. And my pants fall down and everyone lost it. And I'm sitting there with my big cheery grin and I'm just continuing as if nothing's happened and I'm doing these bum wiggles and all this stuff with my pants down. And then they finally stripped. And that was just like, that's the funniest video. My mum wanted to send it into funniest videos and I was like, no.
Funniest home videos.
Yeah.
That's what happened with my...
Or the time that the monkey got caught in my brother's pants in Bali because it was wrapped around in a chain. It was like a pet monkey. It was on a chain and my mum was filming it because it was on his arm and stuff and it decided to go for a bit of a wander and it got all wrapped around his legs and it was stuck in his pants right in his bum and he was like, eh!
Speaking of pants falling down, the polar bear dance that I talked about before, there was one kid in our class who because we were polar bears, we just had like white long jumpers on and like white pants on. His pants fell down. Same thing. Everybody laughed. He was really embarrassed, tried to pull his pants up. The teachers wanted him to do that every night. They're like, we should get him for his pants to fall down every night.
It was like this play is missing
because everyone thought it was so funny.
I was the star and I got a number of roles after that and everyone thought I was going to be a big star because I was 5 and I didn't give a shit that my pants were down and I just kept going like, the show must go on.
Hey, it's the I didn't do it kid.
So, but yeah, they're funny, those things. Like the one where I had to fight to be Scooby-Doo and the way of fighting to be Scooby-Doo was ghetto dancing.
You see, that was the funny thing that like you telling me about all your school plays, like all of my school plays, like, yeah, the teacher wrote them and then she just started, instead of writing new ones, she just started reusing them.
Yeah.
But they were never like plagiary ones. They were never like, oh yeah, we just did that Disney movie.
Nah, the idea for ours was that we had it was night at the movies and there were 3 MCs and I was the little girl. I ended up not getting Scooby-Doo and instead being given the MC, which was way better than Scooby-Doo. And the
I don't
idea
know,
was
that accent.
The idea
that
was
voice.
that you had to, but you didn't really have to do the accent. You were just in the costume and you just danced in the middle.
Oh, okay.
Whereas
so it's
I
like
had
being a
lines.
tree.
I had lines and shit. And the whole premise was that it was like a night at the movies and every single grade had a different movie.
Yeah.
And
See,
different like
that
things like
was the
comedies
Titanic
and dramas
thing.
and all that
Oh,
kind of
right.
stuff.
That's why I only did a short thing.
Yeah.
So what was your Beauty and the Beast story of your first kiss?
So like I was a bit of a late bloomer, right? With my first kiss. You know how most people's first kisses were like, what, 10?
I don't know.
I was like 17.
If I don't count siblings or my relatives, it's about that age. But if you
Okay,
count
so I don't feel
siblings
as
and
bad.
relatives, it's a lot longer.
But I remember it was like, hey, Belle's pretty attractive. And then
Well, Belle is French for beauty. So if they didn't pick someone that was attractive,
well,
that
the
would've
thing
been
was,
stupid.
I auditioned for Gaston,
Oh, he's the best.
and I was
he's a
like,
right cunt, mate.
yeah, I know he's a bastard.
But that's why
He's
you
like
love
the
him.
epitome of just
But
misogyny.
there weren't a lot of guys in the year, so I'm like, I'm bound to get it. Like, I'm a pretty good singer. I'm bound to get this. And they ended up giving it to a guy who
was muscular.
he wasn't muscular at all. He was probably as thin as me, but taller. But
Yeah.
he was gay as
And
can
he
be.
ate 12 dozen eggs.
Like
He ate 12 dozen eggs every morning to help him
Every
get
morning.
large.
But he was, everyone knew he was gay before he was gay. Like, came out as gay kind of
like
thing.
my ex-boyfriend. Yeah, okay.
Yeah. Well, that's an interesting story. We should get back to that. But like, he'd be like, okay, let's go. And I'd just be like, oh my God, I'm getting off track here. But yeah, like.
But you didn't end up being Gaston. You
I didn't
ended
end up being
being
Gaston.
You were Beast, were you?
No, I was just a stage crew.
You're a stage crew,
I was
and you
just-
kiss Belle.
Yeah, at the after party.
Oh, nice. I thought it was the story of like, oh, my first kiss was like the kiss that they
stage.
made us kiss in the play.
No. But I did have a friend of mine have that happen to him, and he was in year 12.
Because that's like, there was a documentary made recently. There was these kids that like were remaking Indiana Jones, like shot for shot.
Oh yeah, I've heard about that. Yeah.
Yeah, and I saw the trailer for like the making of thing that was really interesting, and like they were like had a panel and they were all asking him stuff, and they were like, "Oh, was that kiss in the movie like your first kiss ever and stuff?" And he was
Yeah.
like, "Yeah," and they were all like, "Woo, it's awesome."
What
That's
about
pretty
you two?
Hmm?
What are your first kiss stories?
Can't remember. Some primary school rubbish.
Yeah.
Probably.
I believe mine was like pre-primary school, but I don't really remember probably. So let's move on.
Smoochy.
You heard the dead air just like
Just like, do we want to?
or it was like a record
this?
screech.
No.
You're like, what about you guys? And it was just like,
Not interesting. Bow, bow, bow.
Tumbleweed.
yep. What has people been playing?
Catherine.
Yeah, me and Shay have been playing Catherine
Oh,
for a
yeah.
hard play.
What's
Mm.
Catherine?
That's it's made by the people who make Persona, and it's like
It's
an anime
hilarious.
game that's like a half dating sim, half
I th-
puzzle platformer.
I think I do know it. I just like
pretty
I'd have
cool.
to see it.
Troy-
yeah.
Moving along like
It's
these
all
puzzle
like
blocks.
he cheats on
Oh
the chick.
yeah, I think I
He
do.
cheats on the
And
girl.
he's
and
got
he
a
goes to
girlfriend
these
that's name is
nightmares.
Catherine, spelled with a K, and then there's another Catherine who's like a hot, sexy blonde girl.
Yeah. I do know that
Catherine
one.
with a
yeah.
C.
He hooks up with her and stuff.
And then you sort of like just decide like which one you're.
Yeah,
You got
well,
all these choices and
yeah.
stuff. Yeah, we've been playing that for a hard play.
Mm.
That game's fucking
It's
hard.
Fucking hard.
I was like,
Yeah.
oh, this is going to be a hard enough game that like I can do with Shay, where it's like something that she'll actually be interested in and be like engaged and entertained
We have
by it.
interesting conversations.
But then
with
it's
all
like-
relationships.
But then I get fucking stuck doing just the puzzling bits, and I'm like, I
Yeah.
need to get to the anime cutscenes.
it took us our first episode. Like we were stuck on one puzzle for ages.
Oh, it wasn't too bad. It was like an hour and a
Ages.
half
That's like
to
a-
shoot the
It was
first
just
hour.
fucked.
That's like the spikes, almost.
Spikes,
Oh,
it was
the
just like we
spikes
went
were
for an hour.
Fucked.
No, he's
No,
talking
the
about.
worst bit
No,
was
no,
the-
no.
was
I know,
the
it's okay.
Sorry,
fall.
Shay. He's talking about our 101 spikes.
Yeah.
1,001
Oh,
spikes.
a different game.
Yeah.
Different game.
Well, in this game, there's some scary bit where she's like this lady old hag monster, and she's got a fork, and she forks you. Like she goes, and she just, and she tries to stab you with the fork, and it's gross.
It sounds so ridiculous, but this is actually like an accurate description of what's going on.
Yeah. She's all like, you won't get away with this. She's meant to be like some psycho jealous bitch. And she's all old and haggy and has scary hands, and they like crawl up and they pull the blocks out, and you're just like, oh, because you're walking around basically in nothing with these funny looking horn things.
I feel like most of the stuff that we've talked about today is just like a fever dream, like just like and then all the polar bears start dancing and like, no.
Well, if you want to talk about something more serious, let's talk about the movie that we watched. And the most serious topic, we watched this movie called Ex Machina.
I'll say we'd leave that until after we talk about what video games we're playing.
Oh,
then
so
we'll
we have
talk
to talk
about it.
about video games and then we talk about movies. Is that
Yeah,
right?
sure.
Yeah, pretty much.
Instead of going
Alright.
back and forth between
Yeah.
movies, games, movies, games.
Yeah.
It's the circle
Well,
of
Michael
life.
hasn't been playing his Squid Game very often.
Oh no, Splatoon! I haven't gotten back into that.
Oh.
It's so
Which
daunting,
is
and Halo's going to come out. And I'm like, but I
interesting to
like Splatoon. I want to use the paint bucket. And they added, like, they raised the level cap from 20 to
When are they doing
50.
their next night versus day shit?
Oh, I don't know. It's annoying. It's always on a Sunday, so I never get to do Splatfest.
I heard people complain about playing against Japanese people.
Yeah.
What's with that?
They're fucking pros.
Yeah.
They are insane when you when you're in like the lobby and it's 8-player matches and the other 7 people that all join are like just Japanese names. You're like,
fucked.
oh shit. You're just like, shit, I'm screwed. And you normally are, because they're just fucking like unreal hard to play against, because they just play it so much.
Well, you know, that's their thing they want to do all the time.
See,
So they get good at it.
yeah.
You keep
It's too bad you can't make money from being good at it, isn't it?
Well,
some people can.
Some
There's no Splatoon competitions yet, but
Yeah.
there probably will be. It's actually a big thing that it's so popular in Japan, because console gaming isn't super massive popular, as well as like shooters and stuff like that isn't the most popular with like Japanese people. So it's actually like doing ridiculously well over there.
I have been playing Until Dawn.
Ooh.
I've
That
been
What's that
watching
game
Let's
about?
Plays of it.
it's one of those things where it's like, so you're playing your 8 characters that have gone to a cabin in the woods, and there's a killer after you. Basically, like all of your friends.
Sounds Cabin in the Woods.
Cabin in
It's
the
like
Woods.
Cabin in the Woods, but it's also like every single
Yeah.
other horror movie ever.
Yeah, and
Like I was watching some today, and it literally the
So
guy like
it is a game. It's not a movie.
It is a game, but
It's-
it acts
it's-
like a movie. Almost.
it's one of those like interactive movies where it's
Yeah.
like there's
Why are we not playing it?
because I don't have a PS4.
Oh.
Yeah, so
'Cause
it's
it
like
sounds cool.
It's pretty cool.
so you can say something to someone. You can have 2 choices, and it's like, hey, I'm going to say this to Michael, and then it might further our friendship better or make it worse.
So basically, the premise of the game is, the whole like, oh, your actions change the outcome is
Yeah.
gone to the extreme, and they say like it's the butterfly effect and all that stuff. And this game, you can finish the game with every single teenage kid surviving, or every single one of them being killed
Yeah,
based on your choices.
That's pretty
And when
groovy.
you start the game, every character has a relationship status with the other characters that's on a bar, and then they have personality traits about them where it's like this person is
Yeah.
brave or honest or
intelligent or whatever.
yeah. But then when you start making choices in the game, their bravery can like if you choose like the cowardly option, then their bravery will drop.
Yeah.
And if you like
So
pick
do
fights
you
with other
play
dudes,
all 8 individual characters, or
you
Yeah,
switch
so
back and
depending-
forwards between.
Depending on the chapter, it'll go from one person to the next. And it'll take the one that's more focused on. But like it's one of those things where it's really difficult, and I have been watching Let's Plays because I don't want to stuff up.
you
like-
just
Like I'm just kind of watching it because there's so many jump scares in it, first of all. So I'm just kind of like, I don't want to be like fucking
I would say
petrified.
I would suggest just stop trying to do it perfectly and just
Enjoy
experience it, because otherwise you're going to get spoiled at like everything that's going to happen.
Yeah.
That's like I was actually talking about that with Catherine, because the way that Catherine works is the puzzle platforming segments are nightmares. So you have like the days that you spend in the bar talking to other people and your friends, and then at nights when you fall asleep, you're in these nightmare things, and if you die in the dream, you die in real life.
Mm.
which
you
we
gotta-
discovered that you do actually die.
You
which
do
is
die in
pretty
real
cool.
life, because I died in real life.
Fair enough.
Just last night. So then you've got to beat the puzzle every night to survive. And then everyone else in the dream is just a sheep. You look like yourself, but with sheep horns, and everybody else are sheep. And then there's in between the sections during the night, you can meet up with other sheep and talk to them and stuff and save your progress. And then some of them, like, they have a jacket on that you notice is the same jacket that the dude wears at the bar.
Yeah.
So then you can talk to him at the bar during the day, but it's sort of evening before you go to sleep. But the thing is, like, every time you talk to someone, time passes.
Mm.
And like, in order to encourage them well enough so that they survive, you need to like have a full conversation with them, which is like 2 or 3 sections of dialogue. But some characters will leave the bar early some nights. So they'll leave the bar after 1 line of conversation dialogue. So if you don't talk to them first, they'll leave the bar, and then you can't talk to them. So then they won't make it to the next night. So like when I was originally just playing Catherine for fun, I like got stuck and stopped because I was taking way too long trying to talk to everyone properly to do it. And so it's like those games, it's just better just to just go through it
Go with your
blind
gut and
and
you
then
end up where you
replay it,
end up.
because that's what
Yeah.
the replayability is about.
Well, the thing is, it's like I'm trying to get all the clues because there's like, you know, try
Oh, yeah,
and
the
solve
totems.
Like, yeah, totems. So there's totems, there's clues, and there's also like, but there's clues for 3 different things. It's like 1955. So what you're trying to figure out about the mountain, what you're trying to find out about the killer, and what you're trying to find out about the twins.
Mhm.
So there's like, I think there's like 25 of each.
Yeah.
And I'm just like,
But as far as I've seen, the clues don't have any bearing on the actual events that happen in the
no,
game.
they don't. But I just want to collect them all.
So
that's, the
that's
problem.
not going to like affect like life death states for characters. But
Yeah.
the totems, when you pick up a totem, you turn it over because it's like a little totem pole sort of style, because it's the cabin's built on an ancient Indian burial ground.
Yeah.
And you see like these little glimpses of there's different things. There's like a guidance totem, which sort of like hints at like, oh, you should, when you see this, you should sort of go with it. Or then there's like a death totem, which is like you're seeing a character die. And there's a couple of other ones like that as well.
Like Fortune. And like, it's, but like at the moment, I'm just trying to make it, I don't know, I'm just trying to make it all perfect. And then I want to go through and try and kill everyone. Like, but I realize I'm kind of spoiling it for myself. So I was watching one where it's like, oh, you know, you can jump down from here or you can find another alternative route. And I'm like, I think it's in his nature to jump down.
Yeah.
So I jump down and I just save my character. And I'm like, okay, I think if I stick to the way everyone's programmed in the game, like brave and intelligent and stuff like that, I think I'll win it that way. But I really feel like I'm just gonna.
It's really difficult to try and be like remembering every character that you're playing as now, and like,
I pause it every 5 seconds.
Yeah, and that's like it's tough.
What are you playing now?
I'm playing Metal Gear Solid 5, the Phantom
How's that?
Pain.
Tactical espionage something.
Operations.
It's
a very long name. It's very, very good. Yeah, it's just like free form, like open world stealth. You can just go and do whatever you want. I had this really cool moment yesterday. I was doing this mission, and halfway through the mission, I got this alert that a convoy was coming past, and I had to take them out. So it was a tank, a military truck, and another tank in this convoy. And you like see them appear on the map. They're like 600 meters away, and you got to take them out, and you can see the route they're going on your map. So I'm like, oh shit, what am I going to do? What am I going to do? And so I look in my inventory. I've got some C4, and so I go down to the road, and I put this C4 on the ground, and I grab my horse, and I put him a few feet in front of the C4, just let him stay on the road. And I run away, I run up the hill, and there's a mortar up there. So I jump on the mortar, or I just stand next to it, and I wait for this convoy to come around. And he comes up to the horse, and he stops, and he starts beeping. This big tank rolls up to this horse. He's sitting right on top of my mines, and stopped right where I wanted him to, in front of the horse. And the horse runs away, and then I blow the explosives, and the first tank pretty much almost dies. And I jumped on the mortar and started shelling him straight away. And then he blew up, and I was on the mortar and hit the second tank a few times and blew up. And then the military truck that was in the middle of them like got away somehow. So then I had to get back on the horse and chase after him with my grenade launcher. And so I was on the back of the horse with the grenade launcher, and then I fired at the military truck and blew him up. And I'm just like, wow, that was so awesome. This big sequence I went through. Is like
that's everything I've heard about that game is that like they give you a convoy to stop, and you actually have to stop it, not like other sort of like GTA games where you're just like, we'll stand get to the point and then stand in this circle, and then it will set it up like this. Like it doesn't. It totally just leaves you to do it. And I've heard this story where the guy was they were like, oh, this general's in the area and you need to take him out. And he was riding around to all the outposts just killing everyone because he like missed like to like when he first showed up, and he was actually like an icon on the map, and then he didn't have a waypoint. So he was just like, I'm just going to go to every outpost in the region and kill everyone there to try and kill him. And then like he did that, couldn't find him. He gets this thing on the radio being like, we've spotted like there's a helicopter coming in to pick him up. You got to take out the helicopter. And the helicopter picked the dude up, and it like went out of the world area. Like it was out of bounds, and he shot it down with an RPG, and it actually completed the mission. And he's like, no other game would like let you do that. Like normally games, it's like, oh, it passed through that invisible barrier that's the out of bounds. Yeah. Mission over. Yeah, it's failed.
It's funny you mentioned GTA. It's like in GTA when you have to chase someone in a car. You can see it's so obvious that it's not behaving like a normal, like the other cars in the game do.
Yeah.
It's like on a set, it's like on a rail almost.
Yeah, and it's also like sort of rubber banded where it's like if it gets too far away, they kind of slow down so that you can catch up a bit more and stuff.
That's
and
like one of the first missions where they're trying to get on the boat for the 5th one. You remember that one? It's like they're on the freeway and he's trying to get the boat. Yeah, GTA 5.
That's right.
But no, Metal Gear Solid, it really just dynamically happens in like, there was this mission where these guys were taking away a prisoner, and it was like a side objective to intercept them and rescue him and interrogate him, part of the main mission. And they took him like halfway across the map, and I had lots of opportunities to grab him, but I was just like biding my time. And they eventually got to their destination and they killed him, and so I missed out on being able to do that. So I was like, oh damn, I felt really bad. So yeah, you have to really go and just grab your opportunity when you get it.
Yeah, it's cool that they actually have it on a timer, and they're
Yeah.
like, no, if you don't do this, he will get killed. Instead
Mm.
of just being like, they're gonna kill him any second. They
Yeah,
just got the gun
yeah.
to his head. They're just standing there, idly waiting.
And then you get to a certain point in the game, it's like, okay, now it started. Like that.
Yeah.
That's usually the way it is.
Yeah, it looks pretty cool. It's very daunting. I'm not sure whether I'm going to get it or jump into it because it just like there's just so many
I might not see
systems.
you for a few weeks if you do that.
There's so many systems, and like there's also like just so much with like I haven't played any of the other ones, and like the lore is daunting as well.
Yeah.
And it's just like I would have to be ignoring almost all the story, and it's like, is it going? It's just difficult to like decide to spend that much money on something if you're like, is the gameplay and the systems alone going to entertain me enough that I can
Yeah.
ignore the story that I don't understand very well?
See, that's the thing with Mad Max. I was like, is the game enough?
Mm.
Like I when I was gonna buy Until Dawn, I was like sitting there with Mad Max in my hand. I'm like, which one do I think is gonna be better? And I know that Until Dawn is gonna be, I've watched 2 hours of gameplay. That's
Mhm.
enough for me.
Yeah.
Mad Max, I had not heard much about. I'm kind of like, okay, is it going to be very repetitive?
Yeah.
And I still haven't heard a lot about it to the point that I'm like, I don't know if this is one of those things that I'm going to pick up at $20.
I've heard good things. I've
Mm.
heard that like the cars feel awesome.
Mm,
Apparently, like they kick the shit out of like the Batmobile
yeah.
for like a Warner Brothers open world game. Yeah, I've heard mainly positive things. There's certain games where you're like, $80 to $90 is a lot of an investment. Is it something that I'm gonna like? I don't feel rushed. Like Metal Gear Solid 5 is such a huge, awesome looking game that it's like, well, if next year that's free with games with gold on Xbox One, then maybe I'll pick it up. Because like Ground Zeroes, which was supposed to be the prologue of Metal Gear Solid 5, got released by Konami early because they were like, no, this has been in development for so long. We want to like release this and make some money.
Yeah.
And that's why everyone was like, this is like a $50 demo. But I didn't pick it up. Like last month, it was free on Xbox. So I've downloaded it. And so I'm like, well, I'll try playing that because that gives me a pretty good idea of sort of like
What's happening?
what the gameplay's like.
Yeah.
Because there's a lot more features in 5, but like a lot of the way the stealth works is already in Ground Zero. So it's like that's a free part of the game that I can play now and see if I like it, and then I can see if I wait till it gets cheaper or until it gets free to play it.
Yeah, you can always just play it through our Steam share.
Oh, that's right, you've got it on Steam.
Yeah.
That's what I can do then. I'll just download it because we've got our shared games.
Yeah.
And then I'll just trying Ground Zeroes. I'll just download it on my PC and try it.
But play Ground Zeroes as well.
Yeah.
Because
You get awesome like unlockables and stuff.
Yeah, I actually haven't gone back and done that because I played Ground Zeroes on
Xbox.
PlayStation.
Oh, you
actually.
played it on PlayStation.
It was
That's right.
It was
yeah.
a PS Plus game as well.
And so you can't that doesn't carry over.
No, but
PC.
but when you buy it, you do get Ground Zeroes on Steam as well when you buy it.
Oh, nice.
But I haven't installed it. I just went straight into the 5.
Yeah.
Well, then
that's
if I
fair.
do try Ground Zeroes, I'll try it on PC and on Xbox. Then.
Yes.
Has it got good control, like full control support?
Yeah, full 360. Well, Xbox One 360 pad emulation.
Nice, very nice.
Not emulation, but support.
Yeah, that's how it's got to work. I'm looking forward to that.
And it runs really well.
I'm looking forward to the Elite Xbox One controller.
Yes.
I'm so going to pick one of those up.
I still haven't heard a confirmed release date, but I think some people said it's coming out the same day as Halo.
I think
that now
sounds
with the
pretty
Elite
close.
bundle that they've announced, it
yeah.
has a release date.
But the initial release date I thought was coming out before Halo, which was good because I wanted to like get a bit of practice with it before
Yeah.
Halo comes out. But yeah,
It's definitely in the next
Wouldn't
couple of
surprise
months
me,
at
though.
least. I'm hoping, like they said that close after Windows 10 launch, the wireless Xbox adapter for PC would be coming out. So I also want that.
and the Elite controller is like listed as the EB Games exclusive,
Oh yeah.
but you can just go on the Microsoft AU store
Oh,
and just buy
nice.
it there.
Yeah, the
Same- and it's
Microsoft
the same price.
AU store is really good. Like normally their shipping's pretty fast and stuff as well. Like when I got the
TV tuner.
the tuner and the
Yeah.
remote and stuff like that was pretty quick. But yeah, I'll just like the Xbox One controller is such a nice controller. But like when you use like knowing from like having 360 controllers for years and years, like there's just like the analog sticks wear down, and like you can be like, oh, some of these buttons aren't as clicky, or the triggers like can like be a little loose on one of them or something. Where this is like, oh no, the triggers are all made of metal now.
And the joysticks are made of steel.
Yeah, the joysticks are made of steel. They're like magnetically replaceable, so even if things do wear out, you just get new analog sticks and slap them on. It just looks so fucking good.
Did you see the white controller?
I did see that.
Yeah, it had gold. I didn't really wasn't a fan of the gold.
The gold D-pad.
Gold
yeah.
D-pad and the gold triggers.
I'm not a big fan of that either. It's interesting the Elite controller has a 16-way D-pad instead of an 8-point-way D-pad.
Yes.
Because it has like they call it like the saucer satellite dish thing. And you can, just replace that with a normal D-pad, which is sweet as well.
Let's not talk about controllers now.
Yeah, let's not talk about controllers.
I was literally, my 5 cents to that was like, I remember once I melted my controller because I left it next to the heater too long.
That's because you're silly.
Yep.
And
like me and Alistair never have like misused our controllers or like thrown them and stuff. As far as I know, that you haven't. Thrown
my favorite is
the
Wii pad.
The
because
gamepad.
I'm blind, and so I can have the screen right up to my face and play it at the same time.
The gamepad is
like
pretty cool that
Game
you can just go, oh, I'm just gonna play this off of the TV. Do you want to watch X Factor or some bullshit? That's okay. We'll just put X Factor on the TV, and I can just sit here and play like Wind Waker on the gamepad.
Yeah.
You know what I was thinking?
I like that feature so much. Sorry, Johnny, that I bought a NVIDIA Shield so I can do that with PC games. And now, in theory, also Xbox One games streamed to my PC, streamed to the Shield. But I haven't tested that out yet.
Well, X Factor is coming on this Sunday, so you might have.
That's nice, but we're not going to talk about that.
No, you and your elitistness.
It's not elitistness. It's just like I don't like it, so I don't want to talk about it on my podcast.
All right.
What were you going to say, Johnny?
No, I was just thinking. I only skimmed it today because I was in such a rush this morning. But apparently the new Apple TV is something like a gaming console now, something like that.
It's a really stupid
Can Apple just go away, please? Like,
no, I don't mind Apple. They've just kind of.
I watched like all the main things that they talked about this event, and the bit where they talked about it is so stupid. They're like, at Apple, we believe the future of TV is in apps, and I'm just like, shut the fuck up. I hate watching Apple events. Like they're fucking
yeah, because they do the whole the thing that I used to learn in retail when I was a manager, that my company was like, Apple's so great because they explain everything in the why rather than like they did the why and then the how, then the what, rather than just saying what they've got. They emotionalize it and make you see it in your future and rah rah rah. And I'm like, but they sound like the biggest fucking Muppets now.
Yeah, I don't like Apple.
Maybe when it first
in general,
happened, before we were used to that language, it was
taking away from my
effective.
bias against Apple, the new Apple TV remote, the top half of it is a touch surface. Instead of having like an up, down, left, right on a traditional remote to navigate, it has a touch like sensor that you use your finger on
Is it
the
still
remote.
the size? Same size?
Yes.
I'll lose that thing like no tomorrow.
So even though I don't like Apple stuff, I'm like, regardless of me liking it or not, like if it was a different company that released that, I would still think that's a stupid idea.
Well, the thing is, it's like I really liked it when Steve Jobs was in charge and everything like that. Like he knew how to present, and he knew what he wanted to do.
That's all he did. That's all he was.
Now that Tim Cook? Yeah, it is. Came in, it's just kind of like they've lost it. I just feel like they're like, oh, now we're going to make this. And I'm just kind of like.
Yeah, but they made that freaking watch and charged a shitload for it, and it's shit. Like, there's other watches that are heaps better than that are like.
There's a bunch of stuff that
fifth
Steve
of
Jobs
the
said he never
price.
wanted to do. Like, he never wanted to do a small iPad, and then did that after he died.
Yeah, basically.
And it just is
the
annoying.
way
They
that
try to like claim.
every single person that goes on stage is doing a Steve Jobs impersonation.
Yeah,
when
exactly.
Reading out the stuff, like it's still the same method that they like.
Has anyone seen the
all that
Key and
stuff.
Peele sketch where they have Tim Cook?
No.
So it's like they have Key and Peele, and it's like, okay, now just stick to the script. It's like, okay. It's like, I just gotta be better than Steve Jobs, man. I just gotta be better than Steve Jobs. And he goes on stage and goes, okay, so we're gonna show you this new iPhone. Look, it's smaller. And everyone in the one is like, yeah, that's pretty good, I guess. And then he goes, and look at this. And then everyone's like, yeah, it's all right. And he goes, you know what? And we figured out teleportation. And everyone starts going crazy. And then it's just like the guy on the side there's like, no, it's not ready yet. And he's like, yeah, let's do it. And he like tries to teleport himself and turns into goo.
But But they just try to claim that they're like the innovators, and all they've done is market things better. Like
That's all they do.
they just copy other people's ideas and change them slightly, and then claim that they've created this whole new technology. Like
That's why Steve Jobs
iPods
started.
aren't new.
Yeah.
That's like when he was working for Atari and they hired him
MacBooks
to
weren't new.
make games, and he paid Steve Wozniak like
code.
it was like a tenth of the money
Yeah.
to make the game.
Well, I was watching a documentary the other day, and it was about the guy who made the ET game, like the infamous,
Yes.
really, really bad game.
The one that killed the game industry.
Basically, the one they say that killed the gaming industry, but they were talking about it. And that guy, I feel really bad for that guy. They gave him 5 weeks. Basically, they're like, "Hey, the movie's coming out. We really need this game. Can you do it for us?"
Yeah, but 5-week turnaround was actually like a large amount of time for Atari games.
No, he was saying apparently it wasn't. It was like 3 to 4 months. I don't know.
Maybe.
Was this the documentary where they found them? Buried?
Yeah, this is the one where they found him, and they were like talking about it.
Microsoft
Yeah.
made that documentary.
So they were talking about it, and like he's like, it was a lot less time, and it was all him by himself. But like he was saying how when it got released and it got so bad, people would walk up to him and go, "It's not really your fault, man. It's okay." I'm like, how would you feel if you went to work and you're like, "Hey, it's okay. It's okay that it's a piece of shit."
There's a lot of games that have happened like that, where they're like, make this video game based on the movie that the movie hasn't come out yet, and you don't know what the movie is like.
Yeah.
And then they chuck out a
Fuck it
turd.
up.
They're like,
Yeah.
but it just didn't destroy the video game industry. Part of the thing with that was like there was like more ET cartridges created than Atari consoles.
Yeah, they thought that because of the Christmas period, they were going to be able to sell more consoles.
Yeah.
And then because just that quarter, a lot of people had basically, by the point that they had released that game, so many people had already had an Atari that it was kind of like, there's no way we're going to sell more. It's almost like, I think it was something like 1 in 4 households they were saying in America had an Atari, and basically anyone else that didn't have it probably either A, didn't want it, or didn't have the money for it.
It's interesting when you like I've heard interviews with other dudes that have made Atari games. They talk about how like really all the Atari it was like a video game console designed to make Pong, and it was terrible to try and make anything else for it. So everything else was like back end doing really weird shitty stuff to be like, this is the Pong ball, but we're gonna make the Pong ball do this so that it can look like this, because it was literally only made for Pong originally.
Yeah.
It's sort of like making like a video game in PowerPoint, if you've ever tried doing that,
exactly.
with like hyperlink buttons and stuff like that.
Well, like he was describing it, I've forgotten the guy's name. He was saying how you could basically just walk up to the person in charge and go, "Hey, I'm making a game like this." And they're like, "Okay." And 5 weeks later, or whatever amount of time, they'd have that game.
It was a super different time.
Yes, just different period of time. And now we have, big studios with thousands of people employed, and years.
I'll tell you what Apple didn't announce at their press conference: the creation of artificial intelligence. We watched a movie about that, and it's called Ex Machina.
Segue.
Yes.
I think that was pretty smooth by the METAcast
And then I've
standards.
got an interesting point as well.
Okay. So Shay and I watched Ex Machina this week. Johnny's
Spoilers
seen
ahead,
it
probably.
quite a while ago. Alistair saw it a little bit
Yeesh.
ago. That movie is fucking good.
It is it's one of those movies though where I think the less you know, the better.
Yeah, it's a good movie. The trailers didn't spoil anything.
Yeah.
The trailers are pretty like light in terms of content.
The trailer actually hinted at, I can't remember the name of the character, but the redhead guy, Dominic Gleeson.
Yeah.
The trailers hinted at him peeling at his arm.
Yeah, and I thought that was
something.
what was going to happen.
And everyone's like, "What? I can't believe they showed that in the trailer." It's like, it's not going to be like that.
But should probably say now before we get into more of it that we're going to talk full spoilers about it. So everything.
If you haven't seen it,
anything.
Pause this, watch the movie, come back. Basically.
Yeah, or skip to once it's done.
Earlier this week, I watched Chappie, which is another movie about artificial intelligence, and it was awful. it's so bad and uneven and all over the place and just like leaping over huge logical like things that are just like, why the fuck are you skipping over that and not explaining why that works, or the explanation you give is so fucking stupid. And so I was so like, oh, that's too bad. I was really looking forward to that.
Yeah.
And then I watched Ex Machina and it didn't disappoint me.
I've
It's-
found lately that it's like, a friend of mine was like, oh yeah, it's a really low budget. But when people say low budget now, it's like, $2-3 million. So it's still quite a lot of money.
That was definitely made for more than $2 or $3 million.
Yeah, that's got to be right.
A low budget, it was probably like 50 to 80 million for low budget.
I wonder how much it was. But, I
I'd
feel
probably say
like
minimum of 50.
I feel like they had a lot more control over
Mhm.
it. I feel like Chappie was kind of like a merchandising gimmick.
No.
Really?
No way. No.
I don't know. I just
The problem with Chappie is in the script from the
Really?
very start. Yes, that is Neil Blomkamp. I was watching the Red Letter Media guys today sort of like talk about it. And they are exactly on point where they're like, they show the poster for Chappie and they're like, from Neil Blomkamp, the director of District 9. And they're like, what was his last movie? His last movie was Elysium. Then they show the Elysium poster and they're like, from the director of District 9. And they're like, what's his next movie going to be? They're like, it's Alien 5 from the director of District 9.
Yeah,
it's like,
basically.
like everything after that has just been like the exact same production design. Like nothing about it looks any different to all of his other movies.
Is he using the same team?
I don't know.
I think it's more of a sometimes like, hey, we're going to give you all this money, and they just kind of go, okay, we got to use this and like utilize
if
it
District
and just
9
don't
was
think about it.
If District 9 was successful, right, isn't the way of Hollywood these days, and for budgeting and for productions and stuff, if you have one thing that's successful, you just try and rehash it and remake it, but shape it slightly differently and do it over and over and over? Like, isn't that why, you have a successful movie, you have to have sequels? And
Sometimes.
like,
it's-
maybe that could be the logic behind whoever is backing his movies, is that, this movie was successful, people really liked this and the feel and the mood and everything, so we'll make other movies that have different premises but the same kind of tone and the same kind of...
I don't think that's a good point,
concepts.
because everybody liked District 9 because they're like, this is so different to sci-fi movies that are around now. And everyone's like, this is such like...
I
it's
love
like-
that movie, by the way.
It's done like a documentary style and it's like, set in South Africa. This is really different and it's all like really dirty and gritty.
Yeah.
And like, that's sort of like,
I
used
thought
future thing
Elysium
and
was all right.
it's pretty meh.
Yeah. I haven't
I heard it was
I haven't
alright.
seen
And it's all like, oh, look at this gritty social commentary of this thing. And then it's just like the same thing over and over again. And it becomes too prevalent in the like plot. And it should be like, there should be more like a subtler back thing to be like, oh, this culture thing, instead of being just like
The driving force. of it.
hammering it, like
Yeah.
flashing it on screen and stuff.
I feel like sometimes though we have directors that just burn out very easily, like just go, look at these really amazing films that they've made, and then just go,
Yeah,
nah.
but look at how much pressure is in our industry.
I feel
yeah.
like it's like,
You
oh,
know?
look at these movies with the really amazing special effects that he didn't write a good script for because there's no story in any of these movies.
yeah.
Going back to
boom.
Ex Machina's budget, it was 13 to 15 million.
Oh wow,
Wow,
nice. That
so-
is very low.
Yeah.
And Chappie's is 50 million.
That's Chappie. Like that's pretty low as well for the scale of movie. I would have
Yeah.
thought that Chappie would have been like 100 million.
Yeah.
But no, I think, like, I like Elysium, even though...
Elysium was like, it was all right. It didn't. It
But
wasn't.
honey,
So
you're
I
the
have-
type of person that you don't like social commentary being thrown in your face.
No,
Like,
I'm totally okay with.
some people love that shit and love
No,
that
no,
up,
no,
and they
I'm-
love that the whole thing is centered around this and it's all
No,
really
I'm fine
driven
with
and
it.
pushed.
But what I'm saying is that there are good ways of doing that and bad ways of doing that.
What about you've seen Clockwork Orange, right?
Yeah, but I don't. I'm not a big fan of Kubrick. I don't like most of his movies.
Okay.
So
Bad
that's not
example, then.
that's not a good example.
Well, the other one that we watched was 44 Children or something. That was interesting.
Child 44.
Yeah, about communist Russia, and
Yeah.
apparently no one gets murdered, and all these
There are no
children are
murders in
getting murdered by
paradise.
this creepo,
kinda
and
cool.
it's
It was very
and It's all
cool.
covered up and stuff, and
What
Yeah.
about Children
Oh,
of
I
Men?
heard-
that was very socially like in your face, but
I
I
heard
liked it. It was
That movie
interesting.
absolutely tanked, apparently.
Yeah, Child 44.
Yeah.
Yeah, like watching it, I could see like it's probably not going to be a movie that does super well because there's not like
It'd be
there's
a
not a
niche
huge audience for it, but that was a really well made movie. It's really good.
like.
Tom Hardy's performance is really good, and it's a really interesting point of view to be like, oh yeah, this is communist Russia. Nobody like it literally is like nobody like there are no murders in paradise. So there is a man going around Russia who is a serial killer of children, but the police cannot investigate it, and they will cover up the fact that they are murdered as like accidents.
Train accidents.
Oh, okay.
Because they are like
wolf accidents,
there are
all
no
sorts of
murders.
shit.
Yeah.
But it's just
Murder is a
like,
capitalist disease, and we do not have that here. And they are like just neglecting to. And it's got
cool.
it's got Gary Oldman as well. It was really good.
That makes me think of something really obscure, but apparently I think it's Ireland. The national suicide rate is 0%.
All right.
Because they're Catholic, I believe.
Oh yeah.
Don't like
acknowledge that suicide is real.
Like you can't you're not allowed to kill yourself, so they don't report it and don't have it as a statistic and stuff like that.
That's fucked up.
Yeah, it's strange.
No, but the problem I've like going back to Neil Blomkamp, not to beat a dead horse, but his social commentary is the same social commentary every single time. And like the thing with Chappie where it's like, oh, AI and stuff like that, and it's like, oh, it's like a rehash of RoboCop's plot. Pretty much, like pretty accurately it is. Down to the point of like Chappie is like RoboCop and I think it's like the Moose something that Hugh Jackman that's the robot that Hugh Jackman makes. It looks like Ed 209 from RoboCop. And he's all like, no, we shouldn't have AI like that's completely computer controlled out there being police officers. We should have a human controlling the robot, like a drone, like wirelessly, because they're unpredictable and all that stuff. And the side it tries and takes to take on like the whole, like, is this a good thing or a bad thing? It just like is all over the place and not clear and just stupid and illogical. So it's not that I'm like, I don't like social commentary in movies. I just like it to be done well.
And we all hope he does Aliens well.
Yeah, that's the thing that kind of pissed me off, that because when it was announced that he was directing it, he kind of just came out and said like, oh yeah, Alien 3 and 4 were shit and they don't live up to Aliens, so I'm going to give Aliens the sequel it deserves. I'm like, that's like high and mighty talk
a high call.
Coming from someone who it's like District 9, amazing commercial and critical success, and then all of his movies after have been fairly mediocre in reviews and success. So it's like, you're talking pretty big shit now, but like David Fincher did an amazing job of Alien 3 under the like constraints that he was under in like age and budget and there not being a script and all that stuff. And he totally put together like a really beautiful, awesome movie. And it's like, don't just shit on that just because. Like, let's see what you can actually do with it first. Because like Ridley Scott fucking ruined Prometheus and he did the original Alien. And
I thought you liked Prometheus, honey.
No,
Pretty sure when you saw Prometheus, you thought it was awesome.
I liked the movie, but what it does to the franchise is like, it is a terrible, terrible waste of that opportunity to make a prequel to Alien. Because he's like, no, it's going to be on the mountain. It's going to be Mountains of Madness and it's going to have Cthulhu in it for no reason. And now he's doing Prometheus 2 and he's like, yeah, it's not going to have the alien in it because I'm pretty sure everyone hates the alien. They don't want to see it anymore because it's been done too much. So we're going to have a different enemy in it. And it's like, how is this a prequel to this movie now? What are you doing? You're just making a different sci-fi movie.
I think, yeah, it's just a marketing ploy.
And the thing that makes the Alien movie so good is that they give different directors them every time, and they're really different. And so the production design on them and the writing and the direction is all really different. And watching them back to back is really enjoyable because they're all different takes on them. And Alien 3 is like spiritually more like the first one, and Resurrection is more spiritually like the second one, but they're all interesting and different takes. Where Neil Blomkamp just being like, I'm just going to do a sequel to James Cameron's Aliens, I don't know if that's going to work out as well as...
Who was the person that released the artwork on the new Alien film? Was it the guy who directed District 9 or was it like someone part of his team?
Yeah.
Was it on his Twitter that it came out,
was
or was
connected
it
to
someone
him
else?
somehow.
Yeah.
It was concept art for like the movie that he was developing.
Yeah.
I don't know if it was specifically him. And then he was like, "Oh yeah, that was this stuff. Would have loved to make that." And they were like,
Yeah, we should do this. Like,
Fox were like, "Yeah, let's actually do this."
yeah, because when I saw the concept art, I'm like, yeah, this looks really interesting. I'm really excited about this. But I'm still, still one of those things where I'm not sure. But it's interesting how, someone announces something and they're like, hey, this is what's happening. And everyone's like, oh my God. Like when Ben Affleck was announced as Batman, I was one of those people like, this is going to suck. But as soon as I saw that trailer, I'm like,
Well, Batman's had it a little bit because of how everyone fucking hated Heath Ledger as the Joker. Everyone didn't like that.
yeah,
decision, and
exactly.
they
It's
were
one of
all
those things.
And
Oh,
like,
I thought Heath Ledger was good.
no, he was
No,
good.
he
but,
was, but
when he was first
before-
announced, nobody liked that.
Yeah,
and everyone
'cause he
said
was
it was going to be
pretty
bad.
boy. He was
Yeah.
typecast.
Because they couldn't see what it was going to be like. And there's certain characters that are like that where it's an existing character like comic books or like James Bond that's like where he's like, yeah, he's always recast now, and like Doctor Who to an extent as well.
Yeah.
Where like people are going to have opinions on actors that they pick to play this role who they know that character now, and they're like, this is what I think this character should be like. And like Daniel Craig got like death threats and stuff like that
Well,
sent to him before the movie even came out. Then Casino Royale came out and everyone fucking loved it. And
Yeah,
everyone was
well-
like, oh wait, he was really good.
did you hear about, what's the guy in Luther?
Idris Elba.
Yeah, he was like, I wouldn't mind playing James Bond. And that
Yeah.
author of James Bond came out and goes, oh, he's kind of not
He's-
English enough.
He's an author of like he writes James Bond novels.
Yeah.
He's not the actual James Bond
Oh,
author.
yeah, but
Because
like,
he said
Fleming's
something.
dead.
He said a really strange quote.
He said he's
he
like
was like too
he's-
thuggish or
straight.
something.
Yeah,
Yeah,
he
too
he's
straight.
got, yeah, he looks too
He was like,
straight to
he's
play.
like, he's not British enough and he looks too straight or something like that. And everyone's like, these people aren't English, they're Scottish and all these people. And
Well, Daniel
like,
Craig's the first British James Bond.
yeah.
We've had 2 Irish, a Scottish, and an Australian. I think that's it.
Yeah.
Yeah, but the dude has a right to say that it's not that doesn't fit his creative visual concept.
Oh,
No,
but
but
it
it was
was more
because
like-
it's because
That's
Idris
nothing
Elba is
wrong with
black.
that. That's what
No,
the
Yeah.
Shay, it's because he's black, and he said, "Oh, he looks too street to be James Bond."
Yeah, that's literally what
yeah,
it
but that's
was.
just people playing the race card. Like,
Yeah.
if he had said he's too black, then I could understand it being like, oh shit.
No, saying he's too street has a connotation that is
That is
like
too-
a race thing
yeah,
as
that's a
well.
Yeah,
race
but
thing.
you can be straight and be white.
No,
You know,
but
with
like,
your dollar chains around your neck and all
Yeah,
that
you
type
can.
of crap. Like, there's a lot of.
but I
white
read a really
gangsters
good
and stuff.
another person opinions being like, "Hey, this is what James Bond needs to be a good James Bond," and Idris Elba has it where he says like, James Bond, it's the he has an effect on women. And he knows that he has that, and it's
Yeah.
that sort of like confidence of like his appearance
Yeah,
and
yeah,
attractiveness and stuff like that that gives him that persona and stuff like that he can be like sipping there drinking the martini and then like, you know, wielding a gun the next second against
Yeah.
villains and be super cool about it and stuff like that.
And I feel like
And
he
he's
has
like,
that.
Idris Elba has that.
Yeah, exactly.
And I'm like, I agree. I would like to see him as the next Bond.
I
Mm.
definitely
It's funny
would.
because
Yeah, he's actually older than Daniel Craig.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That doesn't really make a difference.
But I'm
like,
Nah.
still kind of like
Sean
like,
Connery was super old in
Yeah.
like Diamonds Are Forever and Never Say Never
I guess
Again.
if you put him in, a suit and doll him up and make him.
I think he
speak
has got
British,
just the right look. Something this week said that Tom Hardy is like
yeah,
being looked at as being the next James
Tom
Bond,
Hardy
and
apparently.
I would disagree with that. I think he's less suited.
I think
But Daniel Craig's already got like 2 more at least.
Yeah, that's what I was just gonna
Yeah.
say. It's funny because
Why have we been talking about
people
it?
have been talking about wanting Idris Elba as James Bond for like over a year, and
Well,
like
it's longer
Daniel,
than that.
yeah, even longer. But Daniel Craig hasn't even like said when he's finishing.
yeah.
He hasn't
Fuck
like.
off.
And if it's another 2
Viral
films, it
pictures.
might be like, okay, he is now
Yeah.
too old to do it.
Hmm.
You know what I mean?
You don't
or-
know.
On a different, similar note, but different, what do you guys think about the concept of the Doctor needing to be at some point a woman?
I don't really
that one.
I don't really mind.
I think
Because I don't think that the Doctor should be a woman because, like, it's.
I liked what Moffat said. I think it was Moffat. I think he was the one that said he doesn't think it should happen.
Yeah.
Mm.
I've always felt like it was like always in the original series, it was clear that like when you regenerate, you don't change genders.
Mhm.
But then like just recently, they've said something like last season that implies that it can be. So now everyone's like, no, but it can, so it should now. And then I think it was Moffat, or no, it wasn't Moffat. It was
Gaddis?
Hmm?
Mark. What's the guy? Sherlock.
No, it wasn't Sherlock. It was one of the old
T.S.
doctors.
Davies. Oh, one of the
Oh,
doctors.
Tom Baker? Was
No.
that him?
No. I forget the actor's name. He played Radagast as well. I believe it was him.
Escaped me.
He's like the 8th. No, he's like the 7th Doctor.
No idea then.
That's the thing, because
What else has he been in?
he was Radagast the Brown from The Hobbit.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
And he said, yeah, I don't think it should, because like just because like it might be possible doesn't mean we need it. And he gave all these other advices where it's like we don't need like a Mrs. Poirot and a Mr. Agatha Christie and stuff like that and all that stuff. And like, that's not necessary. We don't need to have a male and female version of every fictional character like ever that has been portrayed by multiple actors.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, oh, I don't think
it's
so
a
either.
possibility, but I personally can't.
I feel
imagine
like
the Doctor is a woman.
The Doctor doesn't need to be a woman. We've had several female Time Lords.
Yeah.
That's
So it's obvious that it can happen.
like that's what you'd like. That's what like you. I don't think like you really want the Doctor to be a woman. You just want a female Time Lord. And like River Song is like a fucking awesome character.
She's coming back too.
She's the best.
And you don't need like the Doctor to be a female to have that awesome character that you want.
Yeah, I think
It's like when Angelina Jolie, they wanted her to be a Bond girl, and she's like, I don't want to be a Bond girl. I want to be James Bond. And they're like, well, we're not going to do that. And then she was like, well, I'll go make Salt. And it's like, okay, you go make that bad movie. That's like James Bond meets Bond meets bad movie.
I think it'd be okay if they kept him a man, but only if I would like to see more female Time Lords. Like River Song is only just coming back, but Missy's there now, so I'm really happy with Missy and how
I want to see the Doctor's daughter come back.
Funny.
Because
really
Moffat asked for them to put the scene in that shows that she doesn't actually die and she regenerates at the end of the Doctor's daughter. And then she flies off in a ship. So it's like that Moffat asked for that to be left open and he still hasn't done anything with that.
And
so I
the
would like to see
interesting thing
that.
was when the trailer released, what was the girl who plays Arya from Game of
Maisie
Thrones?
Williams.
Maisie
she's
Williams.
in
She's in the trailer and she goes, oh, she says some line and everyone's like, that's the Doctor's daughter because it totally sounds like her. And everyone's like, yep. And
I don't watch Doctor Who, but I saw that trailer with the new one.
Yeah.
I'm like, that looks fucking awesome.
and then Moffat came out and said, oh no, it's a new character. And everyone just went, oh.
I didn't think that she was a permanent character. Originally, when it was announced, I thought she was the character in the Christmas special.
No,
which I thought meant she's not
permanent.
in this season, but apparently she is.
What if she's
Wait, she's permanent?
companion?
Apparently she is in like multiple episodes this season. Well, Clara is back because that was sort of funny. She was like,
Clara.
she was like, no, I'm done. And then I was like, that's funny. They didn't really like kill her off or do something.
Yeah.
Reason
it was
for
really weird.
there was no
last
reason
season.
for her
It
to
was
stop
really
being the
annoying.
companion.
Yeah.
And then Clara was like, or the actress, she was like, I don't feel like my character got
a good enough
ending, so I'm going to
closure,
keep going. And it's
Yeah.
like, sort of like, this funny thing where it's like, well,
I've met her before. She's a nice person.
oh, really?
Yeah,
Is
she's-
she really petite?
That's such a weird. You're like, oh my god, is she petite?
I
That
can
was
just
a weird-
see, like, she always looks really beautiful and slim, but I reckon she'd be short as well, and I reckon she'd be one of those
Probably.
really nice
I think she was
petite girls.
she's actually about my height.
Mm.
Just a little bit shorter, I think.
Oh yeah, so she's
wait,
not
no.
super short.
I can't remember. I've met a lot of people from like Supernova and what have you. So I think she was like shorter, like between my shoulder and my head.
Oh, that's
my
not,
head. So
that's
not
So
not
super
super
short.
there's like 30 centimeters of leeway there.
Yeah.
And she
And there's a photo
is
of us together somewhere that I can find.
cool.
And then got that stuff.
I'll flash it
sorted.
up for one frame during the video version of the podcast.
And I have the derpiest face as well. So it's just like freeze frame of me like being like,
Oh, nice.
Because the person didn't tell me to smile.
So you didn't know.
So I didn't know.
You didn't know.
And I think part of me was like, there's something wrong with that printer over there. How are they going to fix it? And then they took the photo and I'm like, wait, that printer's busted.
I love speaking of photos, I love at the beginning of Ex Machina when he shows up to the facility out in the thing and he's just looking at it And then it just flashes because he's like, "Oh, what's this thing?" And he's staring at it, and then it just goes flash, and then that face is
Face
printed
is
on his
ready.
print card. He's printed on his metal key card.
Did
Well,
anyone here think that the dude that was running the experiment could potentially be an AI? Did anyone have that thought, or is that just
I didn't have that thought.
me?
I thought I had
Because I thought that's why he was trying to trick the dude. The whole point of the experiment was for the dude to figure out that he was actually the AI. But then,
Nah.
as soon as that girl walked in and put his breakfast down, I was like, she's AI.
Yeah.
Yeah, I knew
picked that
I called that
immediately.
as
I was
well.
like, you're too,
I
your
thought-
movements are too weird.
I thought
You're
that
AI.
he himself, like the redheaded character, I thought
Yeah.
he might have been a robot.
And I
which
think-
is what that whole thing that Alistair was talking
Yeah.
about when he starts.
Yeah.
When
That
he
was
rips
weird
his
though.
skins
I
out.
still wasn't convinced because he just sliced
Oh,
his
that
wrist
was
open.
fucking
And he
right.
went like up the vein as well.
Oh,
like
that was
he did
so
like the legit
gross.
way of like
Ugh.
committing suicide, and he was all
Yeah.
bleeding, and I'm like, I'm pretty sure that would
You're
really
gonna bleed
hurt.
out and die.
He's not reacting like it hurts.
Yeah.
He still could be a robot, just that has like blood as a circulatory system. Because I was like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
That was really interesting. It was cool how it was like
How
the power
cool was
outages and
it
stuff like that. And then
That she was so cold in the end that she left him there to die.
I didn't think
in
that was cool. I thought that
isolation.
was cruel.
No,
I thought
but that
it's funny-
really.
it's funny you said that. Everyone else I've talked to, a lot of men maybe, have said that was a really cruel moment, but you're saying that was really
No,
nice.
what I find interesting about it is it shows how developed that AI is, that she has, like, do you remember what you said to me?
I said that it seems really cruel because for someone that has spent their entire life imprisoned and only like their entire goal is to not be imprisoned, why would you then imprison the person that helped you escape?
Yeah.
To no
But that's
risk of
so
her own
human.
life.
It's not
Yeah.
funny. That's what's really cool about that choice is that if you think about it, like think about situations where you look at, like even violence and abuse and stuff, that the majority of abusers were previously abused, and you'd think that they would be like, oh, I wouldn't want to inflict that on someone else because I've been abused.
Well,
but
that
it's
can-
all they
Well, that
know,
generally
and
goes
that
two
passes
ways.
on.
Sometimes it does,
Well,
sometimes
she
it
could
doesn't.
have gone the other way as well, but it just showed. It actually scared me how that was actually kind of more like that was.
I
very
was sold on her
human.
being a real AI when he showed the brain and the fact that it isn't circuitry based because it needs to have the neuroplasticity that an actual brain does to be able to like change and move around. And I was like, yeah, that's legit.
That's-
Where there's this stupid moment in Chappie where Chappie puts on this helmet because he's like, I need to figure out what my consciousness is because it's like an anomaly and we don't know because it's the singularity. I'm going to put on this helmet that scans brainwaves that doesn't make any sense that it could scan his head because he has a CPU and not an organic brain. So it's like, how would that, like, that would be like putting a robot through an MRI. You wouldn't get a brain scan because it has a CPU chip. So that was fucking stupid. And then Ex Machina, and I was like, that's really cool.
But she
The design of
she
the
looked
robots were really
amazing.
cool. Yeah,
Amazing.
really cool.
Like that when she first came out, I was like, wow.
What
like
else is she
what
in?
an innovative.
I haven't seen her in anything else. I don't think she's been in a
Design.
lot.
I'm not talking about her face. I'm talking about her body.
Yeah,
like,
the special
the
effects.
actual robotic, the mechanism, and the way that was
Mm.
developed was so innovative and clever.
It was really cool.
Coming from a production design perspective, that was fucking sick.
I think she's going to be in something else coming up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm
But as far as her leaving at the end, like I just thought my interpretation was her goal was just to get out, and it just didn't matter.
Yeah.
What else was going
Yeah, I
to
know.
And it also shows she's ruthless.
Mm.
Yeah,
You know, and
well, she
that's a human
was.
trait because that's the reality of humans. We're not all nice.
That was
and
really
nice.
awesome when he was like, "Oh, you were right about the whole like sexuality as a deception,
Yeah.
as
Mm.
the
She
like
played
the
the whole bloody lot of them.
magician's thing." But then it was like, yeah, the whole point wasn't for you to decide whether she was an AI. The whole point was for her to trick you into escaping.
She's in The Man from U.N.C.L.E., which is a fantastic film, if you haven't seen it already, and The Danish Girl, which is a really good film.
I've heard mixed things about Man from U.N.C.L.E., so I'm not like super keen on going to the movies to see
It
it.
was one of those movies where I went out and I'm like, yeah, that's really good. Like, I just really liked it. That I talked about it for 3 days. But I feel like it's like I've hyped it up so much that if I watch it again, I'm just going to be disappointed.
Well, I heard that like the main two characters don't have particularly good chemistry and stuff like that, which is sort of
But-
funny because like it's based off of a TV show, but in the TV show they're always like working together, and it's never been explained how they started working as like sort of secret agents together. And so the movie is like a prequel that actually like sets up their relationship.
In the movie, they don't have chemistry, but in a sense, it's supposed to have that. Like, as in they're supposed to hate one another.
Yeah.
And then,
but chemistry is like regardless of whether they like each other or not. It's like whether they like that, like they can bounce that hatred back and forwards in a way.
Oh,
that's
I think
like
they do that.
Really enjoyable to watch, but also believable.
I think
and stuff
they
like
do
that.
a pretty good job at it, and also the fact that you see that character progression of them being like hating one another to them actually kind of enjoying each other's company.
And I've heard shit talked about Henry Cavill. Is it Henry Cavill?
Yeah.
And the Man of Steel, and how he's like not good enough to pull off a James Bond persona.
No, I think he's alright. I think it's pretty good.
Okay.
I don't know. I think you should watch it and then decide for yourself, because
I will do that.
I enjoyed it
for sure.
Speaking about,
I definitely thought it, like, from the trailers, it looked better than, like, I didn't particularly like the Sherlock Holmes
One more
movies that
thing
Guy
on
Ritchie
Yeah.
that Ex Machina movie. How awesome was it when they stabbed
when
him?
they stabbed him,
Fuck.
oh yeah,
That
was like,
so. That was just the
because it wasn't
worst.
like an emotional stab.
there
It
was
was
no
just like a
emotion. It was just like,
smooth,
"Meow."
perfectly steady, just
And they both just were like,
effortless.
I'm gonna stab you. I'm just gonna push my
What's
knife
that?
into
What's that
you.
actor's name? Oscar Isaac.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was really good. He was an asshole. You could just
I
tell
found
from the
that
start he was an asshole.
horrible. Like, I'm normally very like pro.
I loved when he, like,
really aggressive.
They
violence,
stabbed him
but I found that
twice,
even more
and he's just like,
uncomfortable.
okay, and he turns around. He's just like walking. He's like he looked like he's like now this is what I'm gonna do, and he just falls over and
Yeah.
He's
dies.
just dead.
He's
But
in Star
man,
Wars.
Yeah,
Yeah, he is.
He
I-
was the like a rogue leader
Yeah.
kind of character.
I went out to the shops the other day because they just released some new Star Wars stuff.
Did
Oh,
you
did you
say
see
you
the
got
BB-8
BB-8?
toy?
I bought the BB-8.
Did you? Where'd you buy it? Where are they?
I bought it on Amazon
Okay.
because Amazon had it for $150. Mine
That's
had it
funny.
for $250.
Oh,
I
wow.
could never buy anything on Amazon that isn't books. They'll never ship
Yeah,
it. in
No,
It was-
English.
the Australian one's pretty much only books and stuff. But if you go on the other Amazon website, you can. It's a certain
Yeah.
stuff will and won't
Certain
ship.
shops will ship
So-
So
stuff.
yeah, you just go on
Okay.
the normal one and
Nice.
stuff. Yeah, I've bought
So-
stuff on Amazon.
Yeah, so I was like,
Good as.
yeah, I'm gonna buy this. I'm gonna buy this. I like walked out of work. I'm like, I need to pick me up. I need to buy myself something, treat myself. Went to like Target, like every single store, and I finally get to mine. And they're like, yeah, it's $250, and I'm just sitting there like,
They actually have.
they had them. They had three versions of them, like
Like-
three of
what
them.
are they? Are they little CPOs?
So
They're-
BB-8 is he's the new droid in Star Wars, and he's like R2-D2. Like he's got a head like R2-D2, but instead of having like a trash can body with wheels, he is a ball, like a soccer ball that moves.
Yeah, I've seen
Yeah.
the ads where they're like, Star Wars is coming to Big W, and he's like, beep, bop, boop, boop, boop.
yeah.
And he's like a little robot that rolls
Yeah.
around.
And so like you use your phone, like your iPhone or your Android, and you can just control it.
it looks so good.
And apparently it's like you can record messages and it can play holographically, but I think it's just like you put your iPad there and it
yeah, it's like an
QR
AR
scan.
thing.
Yeah.
That feature kind of looked sort of gimmicky. And
It did look a
all
bit
the other
gimmick.
stuff is way cooler. Like you can just make him do like the patrol mode, and he'll
Yeah.
just like roll around the place by
Yeah.
himself. Like I want to get one for the cat.
Yeah.
Our cat. She'll go nuts.
And he makes the little
she'll see it as
noises
an
and he looks
she'll
at
see
stuff.
It as an
It's
intruder
amazing.
and
See,
she'll swat it because she's the bitch king of
Ma-
swatting.
Yeah,
Mama-
like that is the
swaps
cleverest
everything,
piece
you
of
know?
Yeah.
merchandise.
She wouldn't. I don't think she wouldn't damage it too much because like a ball. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
Really.
I never understood, like, I saw, like, bits of the trailer, and I'm like, how is that a practical effect? And now I'm like,
it
it
is.
must actually be, like, a magnetic thing. 'Cause
There-
I used to think, like, where's the track that the ball is spinning on that the head is attached to? And now it's just like, no, it must be. When I was watching the little toy and how much, like, his head dips
Yeah.
and stuff like that when it moves and stuff, I'm just like, no, it's just,
There-
like, it
there's
just
a
magnetically
press
holds it there.
conference that releases it and they're like, hey, this is how we did it and blah,
Yeah.
blah, blah. And they talk about it. And I'm like, that is impressive.
Was it with
like, that
magnets?
is. They didn't go into too explicit detail, but it's interesting because it's like, oh, it's such a big thing for us to make this. And it's like, the size of a soccer ball. And if you think about it, and now they've got something of basically,
Well,
an
BB-8's
eighth of the
bigger than a soccer
size.
ball. Like,
Yeah.
BB-8's actually quite big. Like, he's, like,
He's-
past your knee.
yeah. But like, considering that they had maybe 2 years ago, they're like, we don't know how this technology works. To go, now we've got something an eighth of the size.
Yeah.
We can sell it at $100 a piece,
It's gonna be the
basically.
most popular toy.
Oh
ever.
yeah,
It's amazing.
that's why I bought it. I'm like, this is gonna be something
That's an
that
Yeah,
amazing
is
we
gonna
piece
be
should
of
get
worth
one just for the
something.
cat. Although I think she'll freak because it's like my Furby. She doesn't understand robotics, so I think it confuses her because she thinks it's an animal, but then it doesn't give off scent and it doesn't give off the other
Yeah.
animal stuff.
Yeah,
and
but
she's like,
BB-8
"What the
doesn't
fuck
have
is
fur.
this?"
And
Yeah,
eyes and stuff. I would love it because she would
she lost it at the Furby.
she would like chuck it around the room.
Smack its head off.
She'd smack it around the room like a ball.
yeah.
Like you could just imagine her chasing it like a ball and knocking it around like a
Do
ball,
you
but
know
then it would
what?
try and get
Okay.
away.
I
Honey,
can't
we
wait.
need
I
to
can't
get
wait
this.
for the BB-8 cat video.
Can we
Oh.
just buy this like right now? Because we have an offset account. Let's just buy
It's
it.
too late. Like by the time that we have bought it and try and make a video, like and like
Every
by
other
the time
person
this
is
podcast
gonna make
comes
a
out,
cat
like we could
video.
finish recording this and find BB-8 cat videos online.
I'm gonna
already.
Google it.
I really want to Google it.
We are gonna like the train will have left the station.
Aw.
But you can never have
Why
too
did
many
I not
cat
think
videos.
this? We seriously need to film our cat so much more. She does the funniest fucking shit.
I actually filmed Tris the other day.
Trying to eat a Pringle.
She loves Pringles.
She loves them. She licks them. She's like, I think we're nearly cooked, aren't we?
We've done it.
Yeah.
That's everything.
Yeah.
All right.
Ending on BB-8.
We are going to.
We're gonna go look at
We're
cat
gonna
videos
get
of
off
BB-8s
this.
now,
Yeah,
and
we're gonna
go
get off the
buy a
podcast
BB-8.
and go look at cats playing with
We're gonna
BB-8.
buy a BB-8,
Yeah, we're buying the BB-8.
then watch it.
No, we're just
videos.
gonna
No,
we're just gonna watch it right now.
It'll inspire us to buy the BB-8.
Okay.
We're gonna stop it right now. So
Because I'm happy to have this little munchkin thing run around the house if I get enjoyment from the cat. That
yeah, I'll just
will be
leave
worth
it on all
however
day.
much we pay
See, my
for it.
parents' new house is all wooden floor, so I was just like, yes. Just-
my house is all
Oh,
wooden
wooden
floors.
floors.
Yeah.
Also, it can go on carpet. I don't know why I think BB-8's a girl.
Yeah.
Why do I think that R2D2's a boy and BB-8's a girl?
Because
I don't know.
it's BB.
Maybe because
BB, like baby.
maybe because
like
BB-8
BB.
doesn't have a male dwarf in the
Inside of
actual
it?
inside of it controlling it.
Oh, you don't know that.
You don't know
Just
that.
a-
You
it's
don't
There's actually a
That's
little
its secret.
The way,
It's a
the way they
baby
make it is
strolling.
actually a cat inside of the ball running,
Ha.
and that's how it moves.
Just a hamster wheel.
Ha.
So yeah,
Alright.
thank you very much for listening to this episode of the METAcast. We're on SoundCloud. You can search the METAcast. Our Facebook group is facebook.com/metagamesau. Our YouTube page now has a custom URL, so you can just go to youtube.com/metagamesau. That is our channel's
Woo!
page. I thought you needed 500 subscribers, but it turns out that is like one of the
Requirements?
requirements of many. And if you reach like 4 of the 5 requirements, you can have a custom URL.
Sweet.
Nice.
So that's cool because that's something that Connor was asking me about on the Time to Kill podcast I did, which also this month I've been putting up Let's Plays I did in collaboration with the Time to Kill guys, and I was on their podcast a couple of weeks ago. So go check out their stuff. They're on YouTube now, Time to Kill, and they do Let's Plays as well. And they're going to start doing sketches as well as the podcast going up on that and SoundCloud. And yeah, you don't need to know the Metagames Twitter because
No one follows you.
I was looking the other day and it has no followers, which is
No
fair enough
one
because
loves
I
you.
don't make any tweets. It just
Yeah,
has
you
automatic
fail.
tweets of whenever I upload a video to YouTube, but it every single tweet just says like add a message to this video.
Yeah, I've
That's what
noticed
every
that.
single tweet says.
I was on Twitter the other day, and I'm like, "Hey, let's see the Twitter page." He's like, "Add a message here," and I'm like, "Ah."
They all just say add a message here, and I can't change it, and I can't be bothered, and it doesn't matter because it's got no Twitter followers. So
No,
At
I'll
the time
follow it.
being,
yeah, nice.
yeah, I'll follow it. I'll do that.
Well, that's how I get most of my views. Is just
Friends and family.
people following it. Actually, I was going to say, like most of our views are just from the friends who watch it. But I wanted to shout out to there is one person somewhere in Indiana who watched 101% of our Mario Kart drunk play.
No, right.
That is what their viewer retention was.
101%.
For this, I was looking, and this month the US has a higher audience retention for that video than Australia does.
Sweet.
And I was like, that's cool because we don't get a lot of US views. And then I clicked on the US, and then it broke it down by states. And there's a couple of other states, like there was like someone in New York that watched it for like 3 minutes, but then it was like, nope, there was one view from Indiana, and their audience retention was 100%. And I was like, that's really cool. So shout out to them. because they watched the entire video on August 23rd.
I must have been pretty
Shout out to that
entertaining.
guy.
Shout out to that guy.
To that
And that is how
guy.
creepy that
Okay.
Google, like that YouTube analytics is. They can be like, on the 23rd of August, someone in Indiana watched
know.
all of this video.
Could be creepier. It could be like, and here's their street view, and just like.
Well, if they were like, it's probably like, there's probably something that it's like, if they're a subscriber and they like view that, you can actually like, it'll actually show like, oh yeah, this subscriber watched this
Yeah.
way, or something. Who knows?
If we were massive, if they were massive fans of us, like one day, if we just happen to be in America, we should just drive into Indiana and be like, hey, thanks a lot, and give them some flowers and just drive back in the
Because
car.
we know their address, but
If we did,
All right.
but we're not going to do that because of monies,
Okay.
because we're
and
I'm
we're
going.
not super popular.
Not yet.
Toodaloo.
And away we go.